Hello everyone, welcome to my craft room. It's Glenda Mollet here, and I'm in my craft room with you today because I've been asked several times now to do a video on how to make an envelope using designer paper. My recent series for my Facebook Lives have been just use that designer paper because I know we all have lots of it tucked away lovingly into corners of our craft room, and it's time to get that paper out and use it. There's new stuff coming up all the time, and it's just as pretty as the old stuff. Okay, so I use an envelope punch board. Stampin' Up! Used to sell these. They no longer do, but you can get them on Amazon. They're by We Are Memory Keepers. And if you go in there to look, you want the big one, not the mini one. You want the full-size one. This gives you a chart on all the different sizes that you can make your cards, your envelopes. And I use this one. Let me get a pokey tool so I can point to it. I use this one, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So that fits a regular size envelope. Fits a regular size card. You start with an 8 by 8 piece of whatever paper you're going to use. So there's your card size. There's the paper size that you start with. And then the score line tells you where to start. Now this is just for your first one. Once you get that first punch and score in, you don't use that measurement anymore. So the Memory Keepers envelope punch board has the stylus hidden here in the corner. And I have an 8 by 8 sheet of designer paper that I just finished making a card with, and I used all but a strip of designer paper or a piece of designer paper about that big when I made the card. So it is possible between the envelope and the card to create or to use up an entire sheet of designer paper. Okay, so you take your paper, you put it underneath. There's a little hole right there, and you just slide it underneath there. I call this thing here the Peter pointer, because that points where you need to go after you've done your first punch. Okay, so this is a punch. It punches on your paper, but when you're done, you can slide your paper corner in up here, and it rounds the edge. So I'm putting it underneath in the hole underneath Peter pointer, and then you look over here and you find a 3 1/2 inch mark, and that's where you start your paper. But you only do that for the first one. You don't, once you've done that once, then you have the guide and Peter pointer. And this goes for, whatever size envelope you want to make. They're all made the same way. So you punch it, and then there's a line right here that you do your scoring on, and it starts right here in the corner. But if you can't find it, you can start down here. It does exactly the same thing and go up. So I'm giving firm but gentle pressure because I don't want to cut my designer paper, but you want to make sure that your scoring is good enough that your designer paper is not going to crack when you fold it. And then see, that's what it punches. So now you turn it 1/4 of a turn, and I'm going to fold this so you can see where that score line is. You put it on, the Peter pointer goes on that score line. Maybe the other side. Except I can't now because I've already started it. Okay, so it's difficult to see, but you'll get the idea. You'll see it on yours. So you put it underneath the hole. Then you put Peter pointer right on the score line. So can you see where my score line is there? And then you punch and you score. Now I'm not paying any attention to this part anymore because that's only for your first one. And then I turn it 1/4 of a turn, line Peter up with the score line, and you'll notice that this time it's back at the 3 1/2 inches, but I'm not paying attention to that. You punch and you score, and then you turn for the last time. You put Peter pointer on your score and score it. Okay, so I didn't double do these, but the beauty of this is that you can go back and do it, reinforce your score lines if you need to. Okay, so that's all there is to it. So then you have these 4 little pieces that are garbage, or you can make them little hats if you want. And then you decide, I decide next which way I want my envelope up. So then I fold and score and burnish all of my score lines like that. And then fold it and turn it over and decide if you want your card to be this, or your envelope to be this way, or if you want it to be that way. And it all depends on your pattern. Now your pattern is going to be going diagonally no matter what you do, because you start with a square. You start with a square, and then when you fold it into an envelope, it becomes the diagonal way. So let's go back and we'll look at it again. And I'm looking to see where the majority of the blackberries are hanging down. So I want it to be this way. So that is my top. So I'm going to put it into the envelope punch board and just round off that edge. It doesn't take much off, but it just takes enough off that it makes it not pointy. And then I fold this and I take my ruler and I go from side to side. Now I don't know why this is always crooked, but it is. But I have to let it go. Then I draw a pencil line because I don't want it to be sticking up over top of that. So I'm just going to trim that off like that. Now that goes in the garbage. Now when we fold it, it's got a nice finished edge there. And then you just add some Stamp and Seal on there, or tear and tape, either one. Hold these down, fold this up over top of it, and attach. And there you are. You've got your envelope. So then I just add a label here and my return address label there, put the stamp on it, pop your card in, and you're done. It's just that easy to make your own envelope. Just think how much money you're going to save now because you have all that paper lovingly stored in your craft room. I hope that helps, and thanks so much for watching today. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just search for Glenda Mollet, Craft Room Stamper, and it will be there. I'll put the link in the description of the video for you. Thanks so much. Stamp and smiles, and bye for now.